Good evening and welcome back to the Elder Run. I am your DM, Faye Holiday, coming at you live with them heavy charisma modifiers. Positive or negative, we will find out today. And joining me today is our two players, Agatha and Merlaura, Frogs and Bee, respectfully. We have two of our guys are gone today, which is fine. One was sort of a last minute thing that I didn't know, which is unfortunate, but that's okay because, like any good DM, I have somewhat of a relevant one shot, somewhat prepared. It's gonna be a little loose, but today we're gonna see more about Merlaura and Agatha's past and how they know each other, which is fun. As well, we are gonna go back to where we left off, and we're gonna sort of see where that goes. So, let me just go ahead and let B tell us what happened last session.
So we were traveling through the dark forest, and then well, sorry, this is like pre. So then I was taken by a centaur, no, a unicorn, sorry, a unicorn. And then I showed up in the nick of time to help my allies at the very end. And then after that, we went into a house. I would say maybe like I don't know if it was specifically a house, but it was like
that is peaking the audio.
Sorry for the demon in the background. Yeah, no, literally. I need you to be quiet back there. We're filming. Thank you. And we found a hole that goes underground, and down there was the I don't know her title, but it was like the witch, basically.
The Lady of the Night, yes.
The Lady of the Night. And she was down there with her evil minions. And at that point, we ensued battle. And after all that, after all the fighting and such, more so everyone but me, eluded her body and, wanted to get some cool items. And I was over by the lovely water, I guess, quote unquote. And I peered over into it, and I saw something.
Correct. Anything to add, Agatha? Oh my gosh.
Initially in it was a pool of water or like dark something or other, right?
Yes, the dark pool.
Yes.
Sort of mysterious, not quite liquid. It seemed to be smoky of some sort, but when looked into, you could see a twisted reflection of yourself.
Yes. The witch had initially vanished into that, and then Agatha had taken a look into the pool. Did not like what she saw. Kind of frightened herself a little bit, and then realized Merlaura was looking into the pool, chanting to herself, or whispering something, and there was no reflection in the pool.
Exactly, yes. After your guys' battle with the Lady of the Night, after having probably the worst time with the lowest CR monster I've even put on the field, which was crazy. That was crazy. I tried to upload the last episode on the YouTube, which had a really relevant opening scene to it, but unfortunately it did not go through, and I will have to re-upload that later, but that's okay, because we're here today, and Daddy's got his white claws because work was hell. That's okay. Anyways, but we're back here in the realms of the Elder Run. Other notable things that happened here. After you guys fought the Lady of the Night, you went through her altar, in which you found a number of interesting things, including a a necromantic spell book with sort of journal entries that have a lot of interesting things in them, as well as a heartstone, which is a very powerful healing item that was very nice.
Oh yeah, the horrors.
Yes, with that had
Screams of the Damned.
the screams of the damned in it, because in order to make such a thing, you guys don't know exactly how, but it's definitely done through less than good means. That being said, after looking through all that and finding those things, Agatha looked back over and saw Merlaura was looking deep within the pool. So with that, let's jump back in there. Merlaura, you see Rago and Thorn sort of over rustling through things. You see Thorn pick up this book that does seem to be a grimoire of sorts. Agatha was looking very sickeningly into the dark pool and sort of backed away. But once you looked over the dark pool, something very interesting happens. You hear a lot more clearly than you ever have before, but you hear the whispers of what you realize to be is your patron. As you look over into this dark sort of area, in this sort of carved out area underneath this manor, you can hear water dripping from the ceilings. It's a very nasty smell down here. A lot of blood, a lot of decomposition, and this area in here is very, very palpable. It just sort of hums, and you can just feel the magical energy here. Something you've never really felt before, but something that feels very familiar to you. And as you look over into this dark pool, you hear whispers of, "Come, look in pool."
Oh, okay. And I'll walk over to the pool.
You walk over to the pool, and you look in, and you don't see a reflection of yourself. You see nothing, but you look in, and you can see something somewhat different. You see what you recognize to be the forest, the surrounding forest here. And you're looking down, and you see a very familiar silhouette. It's the silhouette that's always in the corner of your eyes, always sort of in the shadows of your rooms, or maybe at the edge of a forest, but you see a vaguely silhouetted sort of vision of a lady. At least that's what you think. That's your impression. You recognize this to be a visage of your patron. And as you look into it, and you're sort of like getting lost within yourself, because it's almost like you're a passenger in your body right now. You hear look.
I'll like summon the book. I mean, like, I'll just take my book and I'll just.
Necromancy. Look, throw it into the water.
I'll look over at Rago and them.
Yeah, they're just kind of looking into it, and then you can see like Agatha's looking at the ruby sort of crystal that he has in his hand, and she looks disgusted. He's like, "Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, right?"
Wait, sorry, Agatha's holding the book?
No, the book's just kind of like on the altar, like Thorin had like leafed through it a bit, but then put it back down and is now like talking to Agatha.
I guess head over to the book and look at it.
You head on over to the book, and then you look on down, and you pick it up, and you can see that it was. Did I already name this fucking bastard? Hold on. I need to check. Agatha, do you remember if I actually named this fucker?
Which fucker?
It's the necromancer. I think he's got a name that I did put down. Check.
His name could be let me think. GS and it's
Here it is.
sex.
His name is Tormin Bloodflame. And it seems to be his grimoire. You can see, looking through it, different formula for different necromantic spells. And then towards the back, there's a bunch of empty pages, possibly for more. A lot of notes of very gruesome experiments that he had been doing, with a lot of journal entries at the back. It doesn't radiate any sort of power that you can tell, other than whatever formulas are in here. You can't really read them. Since you're a warlock, you don't really need to study magic. You don't really need to learn Sunscript or any, of the wizard's script of spells. You can kind of understand them. You kind of like get the feeling of them, but most of it goes over your head.
Oh, interesting. I guess I'll head back to the spot where I saw her.
While Melora was reading that, could I activate the obsidian ball?
Oh, for Shani?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you activate the obsidian ball, and you can see Shani's face in it, and she's got her like sort of fair brown skin. She's got her gold chain that is from a piercing in her ear up to her nose. You can see that she's she's at a desk, and she goes, "Oh, Agatha, such a pleasure to see you. How are you doing out there? Did you find anything interesting?"
Yes. She's kind of like walk over to the pool. She won't quite look at it. She'll just point to it. Not sure
Burbs and
what
Bees
this
just
is.
subscribed.
Don't look
I
like
am a Merlaura stan.
But the witch, she disappeared into it. She's no longer around. Seems she.
Could you bring it over? I would like to see it. Let me look at it.
Sure. Agatha will like go over, like kneel down on one knee and bring it closer.
Let me see here. Oh, wow. Interesting. You said she jumped in there?
Believe so.
I can't really see. Did you see a reflection in it by any chance?
Agatha will frown, but she'll nod.
Oh, interesting. I know exactly what this is, actually. And it actually explains a lot. See, what we have here is a portal into the Shadowfell. Isn't that exciting? It explains a lot. Explains why there's such a variety of undead in this area, as well as why they've been behaving strangely. Oh, this is very interesting indeed. Do me a favor, don't touch it at all. The cool thing about the Shadowfell, and she kind of like starts talking, Melora, what are you gonna do while this is happening?
I'm gonna just go back to I'm gonna just like see, the mage girl, look at them talking, and kind of go back to where I saw her.
You go back over there and you can see the same thing you saw before, and you hear, "Yes, throw it in. Power and exchange."
instead of throwing it in, I'll just like kind of like kneel down and like put the book in there gently.
You kind of like put it in, and it disappears from your view, and it falls in, but you don't see it like register in this reflection that you're seeing. And then you hear, yeah, put your hand in the pool.
Of course, mistress. And I'll put my hand in the pool.
You put your hand in the pool, and it feels
Great.
very strange. It almost feels like your like hand goes to sleep, like you've been sitting on it for a long time, but you can still feel everything. You still feel like that sort of staticky feeling, and you're kind of like, you put it in, and you can feel like some sort of ball, like a very smooth ball, just sort of like it's just in your hand now.
Thank you. And I'll take my hand out.
Take out your hand, and in your hand is this sort of baseball-sized black orb. And as you look into it, you get a feeling in your head, and you know what this is. You know what it does. This is a pearl of power, but it's different. This is a pearl of a pearl of dark power. Now, what it does is it holds up to 8 charges. And you every day at dusk, you roll a d4, and that's how many charges it regains. And at any time, you can speak the command word, which you get to choose, and then you can squeeze it, and you can regain however many spell levels you want based on the charges. So, for instance, if you want a 3rd level spell slot back, you would have to use 3 charges, or you can use those 3 charges to get 3 1st level spells back. But then once you use them, they're gone, and you have to roll that d4 at dusk every day for it to recharge.
Gotcha. So like if I wanted to so I just roll a d8, or sorry, like
A d4 every
d4.
right now it has
Okay.
full charges, so it has 8 charges. And you can squeeze it, say the command word, and then get spell slots back based on the charges. So like a 3rd level spell slot costs 3 charges.
Okay, gotcha.
A 2nd level spell slot costs 2, and so on and so forth. But they only regain at dusk, and you have to roll to see how much you get. So, you can write that down, and I can DM you the rules with it later, or what have you. And going back to Agatha, you hear... Yeah, so it's basically... It's a lot like the Feywild, but kind of different. It's kind of like whereas the Feywild is a place of chaotic good, the Shadowfell is a result of, well, many things, but mostly it's a mirror world of this world, but where all the evil goes, and where all the twisted visions and unfortunate souls get trapped there. It's very complicated. It's not directly adjacent to the Feywild, but we've actually heard reports that it is infecting it slightly. Very, very interesting stuff. But this would make a lot of sense. We will need to get mages out there to probably try to close it, but we don't really have a tuning fork for the Shadowfell. But like pockets.
Fork?
Tuning fork, yes. Well, planar travel is extremely hard for anyone from the prime material realm. For instance, if we are going to, if I was going to go to the Feywild, I would need to get a tuning fork, of which the Mages Guild has all of them, that we know of course. And we have plenty of tuning forks from different places, but a lot of them we don't have, because they're very hard to get. A very well-versed mage has to go to that plane and they have to craft it, and usually it takes a powerful spell forge. It's a very complicated process, very very interesting. But a tuning fork, just a ballpark of how much, they're pretty, like, they cost about 100,000 gold to make. So they're very rare.
She'll like furrow her eyebrows and then like slowly get back to her feet because old woman moment. She'll go. I see. Well, she'll like look around back at the opening of the cave. Less worried about the tuning fork for this and more concerned about making sure nothing else touches or goes into or comes out of this.
Yes, well, I'll have to get back to Flame Ruined Village and have a conversation with artist Flame Touched about it. It's very interesting. We'll need to maybe collaborate with him or perhaps someone else to get out there and just make sure nothing else comes out. You see, portals of the Shadowfell are very rare and usually only occur in places of where great evil was done, or great misfortune, which makes a lot of sense for this place, of course. I never really considered one this big would be here. It's very strange. This is absolutely fascinating, for certain.
That's glad you're taking interest in it.
Do me a favor and go ahead and take a rock from that area and just bring it back to town whenever you get to that point, and give it back to me so that we might be able to get some teleporting over there. Probably be a lot easier. We can get our researchers in there. It's very hard to close a portal, especially of this size, without a tuning fork of some kind, but we're just going to have to figure something out.
Okay, I'll look around for something.
All right, excellent. And whatever you do, don't interact with it. Don't touch it at all. There's horrible things into the Shadowfell. There are, for instance, for as many good and great heroes there have been, in the mirror of the Shadowfell is an equally powerful and equally deadly doppelganger, usually, with the morals just completely flipped. So whereas a righteous paladin might save the innocent, there might be a doppelganger of them in the Shadowfell that revels in the blood of the innocent. For instance, also, whenever a great evil is killed, sometimes they are simply sent, their spirits are sent to a pocket dimension in the Shadowfell. If they ever get out, it could spell big disasters, for sure.
Agatha will kind of like cringe when she mentions a doppelganger that just kills indiscriminately. I can't imagine why any of us here would possibly want to interact with this portal, so...
It's horrible. Horrible, awful things come from the Shadowfell. But it is interesting. We'll definitely do some studies, because a lot of very interesting smells actually take power from the Shadowfell. For instance, any sort of phantasmal illusions that can inflict physical harm are generally... And then she's kind of like... she's kind of info dumping at you, as she does.
Agatha will, like try really hard to not say anything, but she'll look over, I guess, at the other two go...
Yeah.
Sorry, Shanti, we can continue later. I should probably wrap up here before something else comes back.
Oh, of course. Yes, this is good. Thank you for that. This is definitely worth a reward. Just go ahead and come inside the Mage's Tower. It should be up and running in Flame Ruined Village now. Just go in, talk to the receptionist, just say you need to see me. We'll get a meeting going. I'll give you a reward. And perhaps we'll think of a way forward through this. Just like I said, make sure no one touches it. Could be very, very bad. And yeah, that should be fine. And she kind of like... she kind of like smiles, and it's obvious she, like, as she was talking to you, she had gotten up and started like walking around her office or something, and you can see her sit down, and then she goes, okay, well, it's a pleasure. Tell everyone I said hi. Glad you guys chased her out. If she went into the, you said it was, what did she look like? And you kind of explained. She's like, oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't think she'll be back. So, she'll be fine.
Alright, so we will see you in a couple days then.
Of course. Don't forget to bring a rock. I'll need one of those rocks.
We'll do. We'll grab.
Okay, excellent. Alrighty, bye-bye. And you kind of like, the spell sort of ends out of the seeing stone that she gave you. And you look over and you can see Merlaura pull a fist-sized orb out of the pool of darkness.
Agatha will she'll have let out kind of like a heavy sigh and drag her hand down her face for a second while she's pocketing it, and then she'll turn to look over at Merlaura, and kind of shout at her, "What are you doing?" And she'll go ahead and run on over.
Rago and Thorn kind of twist their heads over. It looks like they were pocketing some papers or something. Some of them kind of look like they say deed on it, and they look over and are like, what's going on over there?
I won't even be responding. I'm just I'm booking it over to Little Miss. Let's put our hands in the portal.
Yeah, so you go over to Merlaura and kind of get ready to sort of talk to her about what has just happened. And as you do, sort of, you kind of just remember, just because you're just really angry at her, and you kind of just, you look at her, and in your head, it's just such a strange situation in which you found yourself. Because the last time you saw her, before all of this, she was a little girl. And as you sort of stop to think about that, maybe you're trying to calm yourself down or something, but you just sort of replay the whole scene in your head. And that's kind of where we're going to go from here. So we're going to take a little offshoot of this and go into the one shot of how Merlaura and Agatha first met. Wow, huzzah! I don't know where to put you guys. As far as the map's concerned. Oh, I had you guys on the wrong map anyways. There's that. You guys can look around. That's the pool and stuff. That's where everyone was at. And then I'm gonna bring you guys back over here, cause not really much else I can put you. And that's the land of feathers. You're up here in the city of the damned, way out in the middle of nowhere. Or the cursed undead city. I forget what I called it. Listen, I've got it. Just be like that sometimes. Yeah. So we instead go back in time. For the prime material world, when this happened, who fucking knows? Because here's the cool thing about the Feywild, Limbo, and most other interplanar areas, is time flows differently in each one, especially in the chaotic realms such as Limbo and the Feywild. You can go into the Feywild, come out, and 200 years will pass, or you can go into the Feywild, spend 200 years there, come out, and only a second has passed. Whereas in Limbo, if you go into Limbo itself without any protection, time will happen to you all at once and in both directions. Luckily, though, in the Temple of the Watchers with the Githzerai, they have psychically enclosed the area to protect itself from the ravages of Limbo. And that's where we're at. Agatha, you are in your room in the Githzerai Temple. What's going on with Agatha here? What's your room look like?
Oh. So I'd probably say it's like very, very quaint, probably relatively small, I'd imagine. Um, she doesn't have like a whole lot of things really. I mean, she has her equipment, she has the tools in order to upkeep her equipment, and maybe like I don't know, like a small bookshelf in the corner where there's like a couple of various different things like history of the Watchers, various like combat techniques, and maybe like a couple of different books she's picked up while she was not in limbo. She might have like various little like small trinkets or gifts that were given to her by various people that she helped with mundane tasks. Just kind of like placed on the dresser, or not the dresser, sorry, the top of the bookshelf.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's relatively simple. She doesn't really know much else. Any kind of like lavish lifestyle, she's never really felt a connection with anyway. And considering how the Watchers are, it feels pretty redundant to even try and imagine living like that.
Yeah. I mean, so you sit there and you look over the knickknacks and bibs and bobs you have. And I think your eyes maybe like dwell a little bit longer on a little very old handmade doll that was given to you by your father as a 10th birthday present. The last time you saw him. There's a couple of other little knickknacks, bibs and bobs that he also got you, as well as other ones from little people you've helped along the way. There's all your books that you have there. And the thing about the Githzerai temple is everything is sort of this whole place, the ground underneath your feet, which is made out of adamantine, was sort of formed in there through the priests of the Githzerai, who focus on the bubble, and they actually materialized the whole temple. So while everything's not made out of, it wasn't a force of labor in the physical sense. So the rooms are quite spacious, not super spacious, but they're decent. And the halls are sort of very, very minimal. But as you're sort of sitting there and you're thinking, you hear the Oracle sort of, you hear her in her head and say, "The Oracle has summoned you for another mission, Agatha."
Agatha will stand up, kind of. I don't know. I imagine there's like a little window in the room, right?
Yeah, there's a window.
Yeah.
And outside the window, you can just see the chaos of limbo. You can see dirt flowing like water that goes into mud, that changes into lava, that falls down into rain, in impossible directions, and almost like a kaleidoscope of everything possible that behaves in both impossible and possible ways. Sort of hurts to look at. It's like a kaleidoscope of just wild, insane magic. And makes you a little nauseous, honestly, to look out at that, and then you kind of like look away.
Yeah, she'll like look out the window and kind of like think to herself, I can't wait. And she'll grab her equipment and get herself situated. For quite begrudgingly, but not with the most enthusiasm, start making her way over to the Oracle.
Yeah, so you walk through, you go through the very familiar archway that has a large amount of steps that go up probably about 2 stories, and it's just this like almost like a pyramid in this middle where a light shines down on this woman with the bandages over her eyes, with a long flowing gown that goes over, sort of where the steps are where she's laying. And you can hear her, and she says, "Come, approach, Agatha."
Damn. Agatha will go ahead and approach. I guess it'd be customary to kneel for the oracle.
Sure.
Yeah,
They're pretty laid
go
back,
ahead.
but it's
Kneel
not.
back
It's
up.
not. It's more like everyone's pretty equal. So I mean, like a gesture of respect is somewhat customary, but not like needed.
Probably just like go ahead and do it, considering it's the oracle. And she'll await her instructions.
Yeah. She says, "Your next mission. Do you remember Trevor?"
Yes, he is a friend of mine.
Yes. Well, he went off on his pilgrimage, and he's taken a stop into the Feywild. But I've seen misfortune befall him. He's going to need your help. I'm going to send you to the Feywild for this. Simply rescue him, and make sure he comes back safe and sound and continues his pilgrimage. I know not what sort of dangers you'll face, but when you go to the Feywild, seek out Chiron, the centaur. He's a man of virtue. Though somewhat stingy, he will help you to find Mr. Trevor. Do be vigilant on this mission. It is probably one of the more dangerous ones I've sent you on.
Agatha will be a little excited at that, but she'll give a nod and go, as you wish. She'll go ahead and stand up.
Oh, and do take this, and she hands you a small cloth bag.
Okay.
You will need this to use them wisely. They will secure you safe passage through the Feywild.
If I open the bag, what is in the bag?
Inside the bag are 6 hard candies.
Boy. Hold on. 6 hard candies? Okay.
Yes. Butterscotch
Agatha-
flavored.
Fucking do it. Agatha will, like, look down at them and then, like, kind of, like, cock an eyebrow. In what way exactly do you mean, safe passage?
The creatures of the Feywild adore sweets above all else. Remember, when speaking with those of the Fey, do not make promises you cannot keep. Do not give anyone, any sort of powerful Fey, anything freely. Be polite. And above all, be cautious. They are good people, but their customs are far different from most others. They can take great offense from a simple misunderstanding, but you should be fine.
I see. I will use the utmost caution, then.
Very well. And she kind of puts her hand over to the side, and you see a portal sort of open up, and you can see a beautiful oak-leaved forest on the other side of it.
Oh boy. Well, portal time.
You walk through the portal. And with that, we will go over to Merlaura. Now, Merlaura, you currently riding on the back of your good friend Chiron, as he is questioning some of the sprites as to whereabouts of a missing child that had wandered into the Feywild and has been lost. He's been looking for her to guide her back to the material plane, but he's reached sort of a dead end, for she's gone. Usually pretty easy to find humans who have wandered into the Feywild, but this has proved to be a little bit more challenging. You've been on his back, and he's gone around, he's asked a lot of people, and he's gone to the various spots that usually you would go to, and he's not really making any headway. I mean, he's talking to one of your friends, Scar, who's this sprite. He's got a little pointy brown hair. He's flying. He's got leather armor on, and he's got a quiver on his back. When he's got a little short bow in his hand, he goes, "I ain't seen nothing." And then Chiron says, "Listen, Scar, if you do me this favor, and just tell me where you've seen the human, I will simply go along my day. I would like for you to please be at least a little receptive of my questioning." And Scar sort of like, kind of like looks like he's thinking for a bit, and he looks at Merlaura and it's like, "What do you think, Squirt?"
Maybe just this one.
Chiron says, "Just this once, huh?" And you see, he kind of, all right. Listen, there was a little human child that came through here, all right? Now, I was going to wait until she turned evil so I could hunt her, because I thought it'd be fun. But Vess, she said, no, we need to show her a way out. So she took the child to go find you, Chiron. All right, that's all I know. Chiron says, "Okay, well, you really should have led with that." And then Scar just kind of like rolls his eyes. He's like, "Look, all right, humans are in short supply around here, and I like to hunt them. So, what? Am I the bad guy here?" And Chiron's kind of like, "Yes, absolutely. That's horrible. You shouldn't be hunting. You shouldn't be grooming children for evil so that you can hunt them. That's absolutely idiotic." And then Scar just kind of like shrugs his shoulders, like, "All right, whatever, man. I told you what you wanted to know." And he kind of like puts his hand out, and then Chiron's like looks around, and he's like, he kind of like reaches into his pocket, and he like pulls out some like seashells, and he gives it to him. He goes, "That'll do," and he flies off into one of the little treetop little tree houses that this little sprite village has.
Oh, yell out thanks.
Yeah, kid. Anything for you. He flies up in there. And then sort of as this is happening, Chiron looks over towards you and says, "Well, where should we go?"
I guess to go find that human. I don't know why they come to this plane, though. It's too far dangerous.
Yeah, it's easy to fall in if you don't know what you're doing, and most children generally don't. He says, he kind of like smirks a smile while he talks to you, and he sort of trots along. And with that, we'll go back over towards Agatha. Agatha, you walk into this place, and the first thing that you're met with is a smell of... It smells like cheesecake? It smells like a nice cheesecake. Maybe like cherries on it or something. It smells pretty good. In fact, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Hold on, don't be laughing at me. That's my mod. Okay. Here is my dice. 14.
14. Yeah, no, it smells really good. You're gonna have to see where that's coming from.
Okay. Well, Agatha will let her nose guide her.
You start walking
Stick.
towards the smell of this delicious sort of sweets that you smell, and you just kind of walk in, and you sort of like realize that you're not really looking at your feet anymore, and you fall waist deep into mud.
Oh. Okay.
And you're snapped out of it, and you're like, what the hell? You're just it's covered with mud, and as you sort of like start moving around, you feel that as you move, you kind of sink a bit.
Okay. What is around me?
Yeah. So, give me a perception check.
Okay. Nico, please stop digging your claws into my stomach. Cat just does not give a fuck. Ow. Alright, 12?
12. It's not really too hard. You hear giggling, and you see as a little sort of blue and purple little fairy dragon that's not too big, probably like, you know, like a couple feet long, is sort of just crawling around a tree and goes, look at that, Trixie, we got one. And then you see this little pixie come out. She's wearing sort of like a black little tattered dress, and she has like little like spiked collars around her wrists. And she goes, that's right, Dormal, look at that, look what we got. And she kind of like flies over towards you and like sort of pokes you in the head and like, look at this little stupid idiot. What's a little stupid idiot like you doing out here?
Trixie and, who by chance is your friend?
Oh, that's Dormal. Isn't that right, Dormal? And Dormal shakes her head. And she goes, that's right, that's me. I'm Dormal. I made that delicious smell, and now you're in the quicksand. And they both start laughing. Oh my gosh, look at that. And then they kind of like start throwing rocks at you.
Damn.
I've never seen someone so fucking old before.
Wow. Agatha will like try like block what she can with like her forearms. Alright. Look. Good job, you both managed to capture me. If you would be so kind as to release me, I believe I have something you might be interested in, but if I go into this quicksand, you'll never get it.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. What's my persuasion? Girl, if I don't persuade, I'm gonna be mad. Slay. 19.
19? They kind of like... Trixie kind of crosses her arms. The Dormal says, why would we do that when it's so much funner to watch you sink? And then Trixie says, that's a good point. Why would we do that? What do you got?
Well, I was informed that residents of the Feywild have...
Boring. I'm sorry. I don't care anymore. And then she's like starts to fly off.
Okay, sweet.
You don't yell after her or anything?
My mic not pick that up?
No, what'd you say?
Oh, Agatha will kind of like... She'll kind of irritate. She'll go, I have sweets.
Sweets? What kind of sweets? And she kind of turns around and says, now you're talking my language, you see? Now I'm an upstanding member of fairy society. Aren't I, Dormal? Dormal says, yes, your majesty, of course you are. And she says, no one would even dare to look upon your boots to lick them. And then Trixie says, of course, I am so wealthy, and I have so much power and wealth. Although, I will say, your old charm has piqued my interest. What sort of sweets do you offer, Her Royal Highness?
I have, some butterscotch candies.
Butterscotch candies. How many butterscotch candies do you own? And then Dormal says, how many indeed, for such a wealthy lady such as that?
I have... I believe it was, about 2.
2. Give me a deception check.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll her insight. Damn. Wow, okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, no. She goes, 2. What a magnificent amount, Dormal says. Of course, the perfect amount for a royal such as yourself. Indeed, a royal such as myself might be bothered to help you for 2 candies. And she's like thinking a bit. Of course, I shall help you for these candies, but you must give them to me first.
Agatha's gonna like look down at the quicksand. It says waist up, right? Or sorry, waist down.
Yeah, that's where you're standing, but when you started to move, you did sink a little bit too.
Yeah, okay. Agatha will go.
Give me a perception check, actually, really quick.
Okay. Perception. $13.
13. That's okay. At this point, it's not really hard to notice. It seems that these vines have been slowly coming towards you ever since you've been in here. And you ever seen the dragon snap flowers that can like open and shut? On these vines are a bunch of those, and they're opening and shutting, and you can see little tongues and a lot of sharp little teeth in them as they slowly move towards you a little bit longer. And then Trixie goes, even a royal such as me can notice that this peasant is about to be eaten alive by the poppersnaps. And then Dormal says, the poppersnaps indeed. Such a idiot peasant to fall in such a dangerous area. And then Trixie says, idiot peasant indeed, but with the right payment. It's about at this time, you kind of see this there's a centaur come in with this small elven child riding on its back.
Okay.
And Chiron goes, what's going on here? Who are you?
My name is Agatha. I'm a watcher.
Oh, a watcher, of course. I met one of yours not too long ago, actually. Merlaura, do you remember Trevor?
Maybe.
The one that you threw rocks at, which you said you did it because you thought he was cute?
Yes, but no one can get mad at me because Oberon said I'm the best.
This is true. Now, Trixie, did you lure this one into the poppersnaps pit again? This is like the 3rd time you've done this, and I've told you every single time to not do it. And then Trixie goes, I don't believe you're in charge of me. And then Dormal says, I don't believe you're in charge of her either. And then...
Hey, look, all of you, it'd be great if I could get out of this pit before... are you Chiron by chance?
Yes, I am Chiron. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss Watcher. And he kind of like puts the butt of his glaive down so you can grab it.
I will gladly take it.
He lifts you out with very little effort, it seems, and puts you on the side.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Look over at Trixie. Well, since you didn't assist me in getting out, there's no reason for me to give you the candies now.
She kind of like looks a little flustered for a moment and thinks, I didn't help you out, but this all went according to my plan. And then Dormal like looks at her. Yes, our plan to let Chiron take you out.
Agatha is gonna just look at them blankly. Anyway.
Dormal says, and then Trixie goes and like flies over by you, Merlaura, and just goes, Merlaura, she's got candy. She's got candy, Merlaura. Tell her that it was all part of our plan.
It was all part of their masterwork plan.
See, look at this. This is Merlaura, princess of the Feywild, the whole princess. Yes. Dormal says, of course, yes. Only rivaled by Trixie's power as princess of all the worlds. And then Trixie nods.
Agatha will like look at Trixie and Darrell, like glance up at Melora, and then just focus on Chiron. I feel like you'll answer me a little bit more truthfully. Is she actually Princess of the Feywild?
Chiron just kind of like looks over and looks around and says, no. Miss Merlaura is one of the prized guests of King Oberon, so perhaps technically, I don't really get in with the whole politics thing. I simply am a guide to those who are lost and a keeper of the peace. For what good that is here.
Well, much appreciate your service. I'm not sure if it would have let me out of the quicksand.
Chiron, you're not helping us out. I'll tell Oberon about this.
He kind of sighs. You can tell Oberon all you want, Melora. He knows that I'm doing my job. And then
I'll tell him to make your glaive 2 feet shorter.
Could you just please pay them? It would make my life so much easier.
Agatha is gonna look a little tired. How about this? Melora, since you were so kind, I'd be happy to give you a candy, but...
Yeah, you don't have to give it to the other girls. Just give me one.
Trixie goes, damn it.
That works for me. I don't much appreciate it being, tricked into falling into quicksand for someone's amusement. It doesn't really bode well.
You're in the Feywilds, though. I mean, it's honestly natural that's gonna happen at some point.
Trixie kind of huffs and goes over to Dormal and says, it looks like we're no longer needed here, Dormal. And then Dormal says, yes, no longer needed. After we took so much time out of our day to hang out with this boring old lady. And Trixie nods. Boring and old indeed.
Wait, Trixie. Have you seen, what's her name? Nissa?
Nissa? Oh, she should be in the garden, I do believe.
Wait, that's the one with the child, right?
The child? No. The child came by, and we told her to go into the dark forest, because that's really funny.
Trixie, that is... I will have to tell Oberon about that. That is not nice.
Well, it's super nice. Listen, it builds character, and Dormal nods. Builds character. Plus, if we weren't going to let her get too far, we were going to go...
She gets taken by Baba Yaga?
Then she'd probably get eaten, Dormal nods. Yep, she'd be eaten. But it's the circle of life. Listen, I eat sweets, I collect gold, everyone worships me, and then everyone eats all my shit when I shit in the woods. And then Dormal nods. Everyone revolves around Trixie and her bowel movements. Indeed, Dormal.
I would like to, as they are spouting nonsense, reach into the bag that I'm going to be very carefully watching, and hand a candy to Melora.
I'll take it happily.
They kind of look over there and they're like, they look even like kind of more huffed, and then like, we'll tell you where she is.
You said the dark forest, so she's in there.
But the dark forest is big, and we told her to go to a specific part of the dark forest.
I'll split my candy in half so you both can have half of it if you just eat. Or I will tell Oberon about this.
She kind of like looks over and they kind of like Dormal and her whisper. They look back and they go, deal.
Okay,
but candy first.
I'll break the candy in half and hand it to them.
They grab it and they start just like gorging on it. And they go, all right. A deal's a deal. We told her to go it's just the little, the little pass where it kind of like goes down into the dark forest just a little bit and kind of goes down into the creek, where all the rocks are. We sent her down over there, which should go by the ruined tower, which is where a lot of the rot is. But listen,
she's gonna die.
She's not gonna die because we sent that other little kid there, the one with the weird face.
Do I know what they're talking about?
I think his name was Trover. Yeah,
You
Trover.
Well, actually, I did throw rocks at him, but no one can get mad at me because I am a prized possession.
Yeah, we threw rocks at her too.
Yes.
Well, I
you did.
didn't.
Melora taught us about rock throwing. It's actually really fun. And then Dormal like nods. I can't grab the rocks good enough to throw them, but I like watching Trixie do it.
They're not rocks or pebbles because I don't want to hurt anyone. I just like to annoy people.
Oh, we were throwing deer feces actually.
That is disgusting.
They kind of like harden
hold
like
on.
little rocks.
Oh, that's so gross. Agatha's just gonna like scowl at them. All the more reason I'm glad that.
Anyways, don't worry, because we also sent Vess after them too, so they're probably fine. Although I took all the arrows out of Vess's quiver when she wasn't looking, because that was super funny.
You have to return those to her when she gets back and apologize.
We already threw them in the lake. It was funny. I tried to skip them, none of them skipped.
No more candy for you guys when I see you.
I can't believe this, Dormal. Can you believe this? I can't believe this. I thought
I'll give you my
float.
prize candy possession if you get those arrows back.
They kind of like look at each other. All right. And then she kind of like reaches into like the knot of a tree and pulls out a bunch of arrows. I lied. I didn't throw them in the lake. Here you go. Candy, please.
I don't like liars.
I didn't lie. I said I threw them in the lake, and I did throw them in the lake, but we took them out after they started floating. And then Dormal says, which I knew they would. Knew they would.
Okay, well, I'll talk to Oran about my candy prize then.
Okay, bye. And then kind of just fly off.
What an interesting pair.
Chiron just kind of like pinches his brow and he goes, you have no idea. It's actually pretty tame. One time there was an old woman that came through and they skinned her alive. Which was bad, but they also made a deal with her to take all of her pain. So technically Dormal felt all of the skinning. The lady didn't, but then she didn't have any skin, which was an issue. It was a whole thing. I had to go find Terramane and
it's like a pile of muscle.
Do a greater restoration on her. It was bad. Anyways.
Agatha's like gonna look absolutely horrified.
It sounds bad. It wasn't that bad. Like no one was really hurt in the long run, except for Dormal, I guess. That was pretty traumatic for her, but she thinks it's funny now. I don't know. I think honestly, and he kind of like leans in, I think everyone around here needs a bit of therapy.
It seems like comedy is a very strange currency too.
Yes. Anyways, well, we have a direction now. We should follow it. Sounds like the small child I'm looking for and your missing child, Trevor, seem to be going the same way. And Trevor's not really a child. He's like 14. Last you met him and when he went on his pilgrimage, and you were also like you were like 17 when he went on his pilgrimage, but like there's not too many children around, so you were like friends. Which you think he's probably the same age right now, maybe, but you're not quite sure. There's like, it's who knows, you know?
It's a really old child. Hello.
I want candy.
Hold on. I guess like Agatha will like mention to Chiron. Yes, if you would be willing, it'd be much appreciated if I could travel with you. Rather not fall into any situation such as that, if I can.
Yes, of course. We will go together. That way is somewhat troubling. I've seen it's been a lot of disappearances. There's a strange evil magic sickening that area of the Feywild. But it shouldn't be far from here. Just follow me. And he starts walking.
And I guess like as walking, like talk to Melora and say, okay, once I reach my friends, I'll give you a piece of candy once we get to that point. How does that sound?
Okay. I'm okay with that. You know, honestly, the trap they set up for you is pretty tame.
It sounds like it's. Glad I didn't get skinned alive or worse.
I would have lectured them. Oberon doesn't like when we, do all that too crazy stuff.
That's good to hear. Though I'm not sure a lecture could have saved fate. It did get worse, but I appreciate the thought.
So, and you guys start walking, and as you're walking, you kind of like everything sort of. You didn't really walk that far in the Feywild, but the Feywild's a very interesting place. If you don't know where you're going, you basically move in random directions. But if you do know where you're going, you get there very quickly. So luckily,
Interesting.
with Chiron as your guide, and with a location, the ruined tower, in his mind, he leads you through the Feywild. You see a moonstone dragon flying in the distance, with little sparkles going behind it. You see little gnomes with little knives that kind of like back away into the bushes as Chiron goes by, and he kind of just like shoos them away. And you see just a menagerie of different plant life and creatures. Some things that look really nice, and then the closer you get to them, they look a little mean. For instance, there's like, those little what are they called? The little weeds that have the little like dinglies, and you blow them, and then all the little floaters go away.
Oh yeah, dandelion.
Not dandelion. Those are the orange ones.
Oh, I mean we call them dandelions here. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so some of those, but when you go to like touch one, it stings your hand, like a cactus almost.
No.
And you can see other different thistles that have a sweet smell to them. And you go by, and there's just a bunch of interesting things. Pretty much everything you look at isn't exactly what it seems on the surface.
I see.
You guys keep moving, and as you're moving, you get to an area. And in this area, you see there's like a stone bridge and an old stone watchtower that seems to be crumbling. Give me perception checks. Merlaura, you can roll. You can roll once for Merlaura with no modifier, and then once just with Chiron's stat block.
This bitch should be dead, I swear to God.
11, okay, don't be mad. 11's fine.
What do I roll for Melora? An
Just
18.
Okay, an 18. Okay, nice.
And then let's roll for, where is Chiron's? Here it is. Five.
Chiron doesn't see anything. Melora, you get excited and you kind of like put your hands on his head, which kind of covers his eyes, and you're like, "Oh, look at that!" And you point towards the ruined tower. And I'm gonna move us over to the ruined tower here, which I set up very quick like. Where is it at? Ah, here it is. Alrighty, and this is what you see. Melora, you see across the place you can see this large two-headed sort of giant. He's got a club in one hand, and one of the heads is sleeping, the other one is not. With that, you also see two little dryads just walking around. They look a little sickly. The The bark on their skin looks sort of like mangy to a point, and you can see sort of this dark sort of magic emanating from them. And you can see, just briefly in this tower down here, you can see Trevor holding the missing child as inside this tower as the Etten, which is what you believe this to be, sits guard. And with an 18, you also notice. Okay, first of all, let's put your guys' tokens on here, because I didn't get around to doing that. So let's do that real quick, like. So, put you there, and I need a centaur. Hold on. How the fuck do I spell A-U? Centaur? I think this is how you spell.
C-E-N-T-A-U-R? Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice, okay. Boom. And Chiron sort of puts you down on the ground, Merlaura, and he says, be very careful. Go hide in those bushes, and don't come out until the fighting is done. And he looks over towards you, Agatha, and says, I do believe we've got a fight on our hands. This thing looks evil.
Yes, it looks quite unpleasant. If you wish for me to combat something, let me know. You clearly know your way much better than I ever would here.
It's really up to you. And he looks over towards you, Merlaura, before you move out, and he says, What do you think? How should we do this? And it's about at this time you realize, Merlaura, that all the little bushes near you are alive and evil. And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Damn. The fucking bushes.
The bushes.
Like, surprise, guys. They're going to eat you.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Alright. Damn. Happy Pride Month.
What? Tell me your guys' rolls. I can't see them.
21.
15. Why do you think those bushes look a
Oh
little...
my fucking god.
Yeah, listen. They didn't have fucking twig blights, so I'm...
That's funny.
What is that?
What's going on here?
What is that?
And, so, you kind of like hide by, Chiron. And for this battle, B, aka Merlaura, will be controlling Chiron, the barbarian, centaur, and, Agatha will be playing herself in this. So let me go through here. Did anyone get a 20 or above for their initiative?
Yeah.
You did. Okay.
I did. I got 21.
Nice. I don't have any of my dice, which is probably something I should grab here real quick.
It does sound like a problem.
Okay.
Very personal problem.
Well, I'm about to make everyone's problem. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay. What did you get? Okay, nice. Okay. That's that. That's a... The Etten rolled a natural 20, and these guys rolled... Okay.
Damn.
Alright, so... It's gonna go Agatha. Wait, hold on. These guys... Oh, wait, these guys have a +1. Okay, what exact number? Did you get a 21 or a 20 exactly?
I got a 21. Like, I rolled
Okay.
a 20, but +1.
Okay, so they rolled a 19 +1, so it goes Agatha.
Okay, got.
Goes Agatha, then it goes the Etten. Then it goes Blight slash fucking brain fart, Dryads. Okay, and then it goes Chiron. Alrighty. So, and with that, we will switch to the very, very pog Skyrim battle music, because welcome to hell.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, you guys get to start the initiative. But first, these twig blights get a little... So, the way this will work is that there's a surprise round that both you and these twig blights are gonna go. And then, after that, these guys will be alerted to your presence.
I see.
So, we are gonna start at the top of the round with Miss Agatha.
Okay. This is unfortunate position. Thinky. Twig blights. Okay. I think I need to. Let me double check something. Wait, 5-foot radius.
5-foot
Is
radius is
small.
just everything, like, basically touching you would be a 5-foot radius.
Okay. I don't think I can. Okay. Well, let's see how this goes. Alright, so for right now, I'm going to go ahead and cast... Hold on, I'm trying to optimize real quick. I'm gonna cast
D8.
Moonbeam.
Okay.
I want to cast it on this tile here.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, so it has a 5-foot radius, it's 40 feet tall. Cylinder of 40 feet. Let me see if I can throw it into shots. There we go.
Okay, you're just gonna need to tell me what the radius is and what I need to roll.
Yeah, so radius it's 5 feet. And then you need to
Okay.
roll a con save.
Oh, these guys don't have a lot of constitution.
You
Okay.
need to pass a 15.
A 15. All right. I'm just going to roll it for all of them. It hits these 3, right? These guys right here. These
Yeah.
3 here. All right. So Constitution saving throws. Let me see here. What's their con? Oh, it's a +1.
Uh-huh.
They all fail. I'll be completely honest. They are probably not going to make it. Go ahead and roll your damage, though.
Okay. Damn.
Can you roll it on the D&D dice, please?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. That gives me a do-over, I'll take it.
Yes, that will be a do-over.
As long as I get a better roll.
Yeah, we don't want to use the roll 20.
13.
Okay, 13. Yes, they all die. What does it look like when you cast this spell?
Let me think. Yeah, so she has her little holy symbol, whatever. She'll like murmur a couple of words as she like touches it with her chest, and then with her staff, she's gonna like point in that direction of where she wants it to be summoned. I like to imagine like the holy symbol glows a little bit as the moonbeam from somewhere is cast down, and as it's cast down and it touches these little twig blights, they erupt into flames, and just burn up to a crisp.
Yeah, that's what happens. The beam comes in, boom, and then these twig blights go, and then they just kind of just burn up. As you can see, sort of this dark magic leave them. Alrighty. And next up, or you can do anything else with your turn?
Let me make sure. I believe. I'm gonna go ahead. I'll cast. Since I can do this as a bonus action, apparently. I'm gonna cast. Shield of Faith. I'm gonna go ahead and cast it on myself. So I have plus. Actually, wait. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, guys. Never mind. No, I won't. Just kidding. That's my turn.
Buggers. Okay. Next up are the twig blights. Or the needle blights, I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the needle blights. So, they move on up. Let's see here. So, these ones are going to do ranged attacks. Or this one's going to do a ranged attack on you. This one's going to do a melee attack on you. This one's also going to do a melee attack on you. So, we'll roll these. These is against you.
Sorry, which ones are dead?
The ones that are no longer on the screen. They are murdered. So, I'm just going to roll for these guys. These guys get +3. Does an 18 hit?
Sadly.
Does a 17 hit?
Also sadly.
Okay, so you get 2 hits, and you take... 8 piercing damage. Oh my god. I rolled max damage on that one too. So you take 8 piercing damage and then 9 piercing damage. As they shoot little, the one at range shoots little needles into you, and the one nearby just sort of like rakes your shins.
Yeah, really got me.
All right, next up is Chiron.
So, he's gonna rage.
Alrighty.
And he's going to swing on this one right here.
Roll to hit.
Let me double check something. Real fast. Okay. Where's that? Does a 24 hit?
Yes.
And it does this much. Wait, it does. Oh, okay. It does 14 damage.
It dies. How do you kill it?
He just like slices it in half. I think it's just terrifying because it's a fucking glaive, so.
Yeah, it comes down in a swing as he rears back on his hind legs, cuts it in half, and you can see dark magic fly out of it as it just falls and withers.
And then he's gonna make another attack.
All right, roll the hit.
On the one right here. And...
It hits.
I'm
gonna be real with you. Their AC is 12, so
it does 14 damage again.
It's gone. It's gone. Another cleave. As he okay, I can't fucking come on. There we go. Alrighty. Anything else?
That's the end of his turn.
Alrighty, and we're back to the top with Agatha. That's the end of the surprise round. As you can see, these dryads sort of snap over at the sound of combat.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move my beam here. So these two little twats to that.
Okay. Let's see, what are you hitting?
These two, I'm gonna move the beam here, so hit both.
Okay, so they have to make a Constitution saving throw. I'll roll for both of them this time. They don't make it, so they die.
Alright.
Yeah, they die. They burn to death. You can roll the damage if you feel like it, but these guys don't have a lot of health.
Damn, 8. Oh, 8.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
RLP.
They didn't make it. Alright, next up.
Wait.
Oh, you got more?
I'm gonna move downwards.
Oh, this one will get an attack of opportunity if you move out of
That's
its...
fine. That's fine.
It hits.
Keep me up. Crying. What'd you do?
Is an 18, let's see. Okay, that's not as bad. He deals 6 piercing damage.
Fucking owie. Right?
As you walk away and the little thorns wrap around your leg and rake off as you move out of its range.
Twat. Ugh. Alright, that's fine.
And that's your turn?
Uh-huh.
Alrighty. Next up is the Etten. So the Etten goes, what is it? What is that, brother? And then the other one goes, I think that is food. I like food. Oy. And then he starts just boom, 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 boom. And then he's gonna... Let's see, hold on, that's 5, 10, 15, 20... What's his speed? Oh, 25, 30, 40. He's gonna move right here. And he is going to go ahead and... One of his arms is gonna shoot out, the one on the left, so... And is going to Eldritch Blast you.
Man, the fuck?
Getting a 13 to hit.
No.
It shoots off wildly and goes, brother, I didn't get it. He goes, well, you gotta use a little bit. And he reaches down and he picks up a giant rock. And he chucks it at you. And I need dexterity saving throw.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, you make it. You take half damage as the thing fucking rolls past you. For, let's see, 17. So you would take 11 bludgeoning damage.
Damn. Alright. Get concussed, idiot.
Alrighty. As this rock rolls past and then falls down into the river behind you. You know, well, you see that? That's what you gotta do. And then the other one goes, why are you talking like that, brother? He goes, this is my new thing. They're just, they seem really fucking dumb. Alright.
Well.
Next up is the Blightless Dryads. So, these two Dryads point their fingers at you, and they both cast Entangle. So these vines move across the bridge and try to wrap themselves around your legs. So this area, pretty much the whole bridge and out to this rock, is going to be difficult terrain. And then I need a strength saving throw by you.
If I failed this, I'm gonna be mad.
I need 2 strength saving throws.
2?
Yeah, the DC is 13, I think. Okay, easy enough. Some of the weeds go around and you are restrained by the weeds.
So, okay.
Alrighty. And then the Blights are going to attack Chiron all 3 of these little babies. I'm gonna roll them now. Let's see. So one gets a dirty 20. Yeah, and the other ones definitely don't hit. Does a dirty 20 hit you? I assume it does.
Mm-hmm.
You take... Fuck. 5 piercing damage, but you're raged, so it's halved to 3. So you take 3 piercing damage as all these needles fly at you from these little ranged attackers. All right,
Does
next.
Chiron have an extra attack?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Chiron, it is your turn now.
I'm gonna hit this one because my glaive has 10-foot reach.
All right, yeah. Roll hit. You gotta beat a 12. Yep. Well, yeah, you fucking kill it.
Yeah.
as you slice,
Yeah.
Jesus, as you slice another one to absolute decimation. All right, what else?
How far would it be for me to actually... How much movement would I have to be to get across so difficult?
So each one of these squares is going to be 10 feet. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and that's the end of the spell right there.
Oh, I can get right here. Okay.
Alrighty. And you do have hand axes, if you wish to use those.
Oh, I have a javelin too.
Yeah, javelin, hand axes.
I'll look at this one right here
Alrighty.
and throw my hand axe. No, throw the javelin. Sorry, not the hand axe.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me know what you get.
Not 20.
A crit. Okay, you crit it. Roll double dice.
God. Okay. Wait, is it? Oh wait, would my rage factor come into this?
Yeah, you're raging.
Okay, let's see. Oh, and my bird wants me to. 8 damage with the first one, and then let me re-roll it again.
Yeah, you don't add your modifiers twice, though. You just add... So it's double dice plus your modifier.
Plus just my strength, right? Or is it just a 1d6, sorry?
Is your strength plus your rage bonus.
Gotcha. For the reroll and the crit, right? It'll just be like...
You just roll one more d6 and then you add that to...
Gotcha, okay. So I was like a little confused. Okay. 7. So 11.
11, it rams into it, and I have to make a Constitution saving throw to keep concentration. She fails. And I didn't say which one is the one that has the restraining effect on Agatha, so I'm going to roll a d4 here in my hand. 2 and 4, that's the one that had the concentration. For the one that got her, it did. All right, so concentration drops on hers, which would be the front bit here. So all of this is no longer difficult terrain. Back here up to here is. But with that, you are no longer restrained, Agatha.
Let's go.
Alrighty. And so, with that, she is bloodied as well. As this javelin is sticking out of her shoulder, and she... Why have you done this? Give in to the darkness. And next up... or is that all your... That's all your movement? You bonus... no... unless you have a bonus action to use.
No, it's it.
Alrighty. Then we're back at the top with Agatha. You are no longer restrained, and it's just going to take you 10 feet of movement to move out of this square.
Alright. Micro swag. Let me see what I have real quick. Hold on. Okay. Is there a range for? Oh, it's within 30 feet. Okay, hold on. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm a little concerned. Because I'm technically bloodied now.
You can take a healing potion.
Oh, do I have one?
It would make sense for you to have a couple healing potions. I'd say 3 easily.
3? Okay.
So you can
Okay.
bonus action or gain 10 hit points with a regular healing potion.
That's slay.
If you wish to do that.
You said, oh, you said like straight 10 healing? Or do you want me to roll?
What was that? It's just 10 even.
Oh, just 10 even. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and for my bonus action, I'm gonna drink potion. The girl is a little low. And then I'll go ahead. Where was it? I think the moonbeam was here, right?
Yeah, it was up here.
I believe it was there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I'm gonna go ahead and move it. It's gonna go. I'm gonna place it for right now. Yeah, I'm gonna place it right there. So.
All right, it's right there.
Hello.
Is that your bonus action to move that, or is that your action?
That is my action.
Okay.
I believe. Wait, hold on. Sure. Yeah. That is my action, and then that's my bonus action. Ba 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 ba. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That'll be. Actually, I'll move up here. So I can do that, and that'll be my turn.
That'll be your turn. Alrighty, sounds good to me. Next up is the Etten. The Etten's going to put his hand out towards you, and he's going to cast Witch Bolt at you.
All right.
Which, hold on. Does he need to move? It's 5. Or, let's see here. 5, 10, 15, 20. You're 20 feet away. That's not too bad. Okay, so range spell attack gets a +3. And yeah, he misses. The streak of electric lightning shoots out, and it just kind of like fucking hits the bridge. And he goes, "I missed." He goes, "Oi, well that's what you get. You got to use one of these." And he pulls out another boulder and hurls it at you. I'll need a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no, this is gonna. I don't have a good feeling about this.
Don't worry, the DC is pretty low. 14. All right, you succeed. You take half damage, which is 15, 18, halved. You take 9 bludgeoning damage as this boulder just rolls past you. Just kind of like hits you, but your armor takes the brunt of it, and you just kind of move out of the way.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Next up is the Blights and the Dryads. These Blights are going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15. and they're both gonna shoot little needles at Chiron. Let's see here. One gets a 16. Does that hit?
Yes.
All right. You take fucking 4 piercing damage, halved to 2. They're coming after you. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you. Next up are the Dryads. This one will drop its concentration, and it is going to do a really just cheeky little fucking acid splash. So,
Damn. Oh, cheeky.
so they're both gonna choose whoever's closest to them, which is gonna be you.
Why?
Yeah. So I'm gonna need. You're gonna love this. Dexterity saving throw.
I hate you. Once or twice?
Twice. They're both gonna
Oh,
send it after you.
fuck. Oh no. Oh no.
That does not make it. That does. Okay, so you're gonna take 7 acid damage
Okay.
as they sort of like shoot little streams of acid out of their fingertips at you.
How pleasant.
Indeed. Alrighty, and that's their turn. So we're now on Chiron.
Chiron is gonna go 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50. There you go. And he's gonna swing at this one.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Does a 12 hit?
A 12 just hits. Roll damage.
It takes 9 damage.
9 damage. Alrighty. And how do you kill this little bastard as you kind of like roll around for the flank with a large swing of your glaive?
I think like it's like a cuts off the head and then cuts the half of the other body off too. Like
With a large swing, and he kind of twirls it, and it swings again. First cutting off her head, sending it flying off, and then chopping the body in half. Where it falls down, you can see sort of a dark mist rise from the body, and it is slain.
and then I'm going to swing at the Eden.
All right, roll to hit.
Does a 16 hit?
16 does hit. Roll damage.
Does 12 damage.
12 damage. Alrighty.
And then that's it.
And he cut into it. He goes, "Ah, brother, she cut me." Oi, don't be cutting my brother like that. Oi, I'm not my brother. And he kind of like looks over towards you. Alrighty. And that's your whole turn then?
We
Alright, next up is Agatha.
Okay. Okay. Might do something annoying. We're gonna see how this works.
Alrighty.
Actually, a torn. It's fucking rocks hort.
They are rocks.
They are rocks. They are boulders. Oh, actually, hold on. No. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, move here. Do I need to hold on? Let me read real quick.
You do have a reach of 10 feet.
Hold on. No, that's not what I'm gonna do. Okay. I'm gonna use Channel Divinity.
Ooh.
And I'm going to use the abjure the extra planar. Planar? Anyway, as an action, I present my holy symbol, and then any aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet that can hear me must make a wisdom save. The DC is 15.
Okay, alright, so that will affect this one, but it will not affect the Etten. So,
it won't? Oh,
no.
crying.
The Etten, unfortunately, is just a large giant.
He's just a big guy.
He's just a big dude. Alrighty, so I'm rolling a wisdom save, you said?
Yes. Wisdom save needs to be 15 or higher.
Nope. And so, what happens to her again?
Is that a nope and did not pass?
It did not pass, nope.
Okay, so basically, it needs to spend its turns trying to move as far away from me as it can, and it can't willingly end its move in a space within 30 feet of me. And then for its action, it can only use that action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. If there's nowhere to go, it can just use dodge.
Alright, so it just has to move as far away as it can. All right, 5,
Yeah,
10,
basically.
20. Is it feared by you?
It doesn't say that explicitly. It just says it's turned.
Turned. Okay.
So it's like that for a minute or until it takes damage. So.
Okay, yeah, it's over here.
Goodbye.
She runs. Alrighty. Anything else?
That was my action. I believe can I use this rock for cover?
Yeah, you can get cover from the rock.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and that will be my turn.
Alrighty. Okay, next up is the Etten. Etten's gonna go move forward and goes, "Oi, let me show you how you do it, brother." And then he brings his great club down at you. Chiron, I'm gonna need a strength saving throw.
Okay. Let me look at it. Here we go. Not 20.
Okay, well, don't worry about that. And also, does a 13 hit your armor class?
No.
Okay. So he goes and swings, and he goes, and then you just kind of dodge out of the way, and then he goes, "Oh, he's a squirrely one. Why don't you just fucking get him, yeah?" And then he light him up, brother. And he goes, "Ah, okay." And he puts his hand out and casts another witch bolt at you, getting a 16.
That hits.
That hits. Okay, great. And I think it's 1d12 if I remember correctly. Let me double check here. Witch bolt. Yep, 1d12. Lightning crackles out. You take 4 lightning damage. Not halved, because it's magical. And that is the Etten's turn, which is pretty underwhelming. Next up is the Dryad. It's just gonna tree walk into this and just be gone. It's out. As it runs away. Yeah, so we're back to the top with Agatha.
Did I get a turn?
Oh wait, no, it's Chiron's turn. My bad.
Sorry, I was like, I'm not gonna let him do that to me without repercussion. Does it say, let's see. 9.
A 9 does not hit.
I'll swing again.
You swing it over and he blocks it and goes, you look at that, he tries that, and then whack, you hit him.
That's comedy at its peak.
Good.
Then 16 damage.
Damn, yeah, you cut deep into his chest and he goes, ow! "Oh, brother, it hurts!" And then the other one starts crying. "I know, brother. You can't hurt us. It's against the rules." And then, okay, he's done though. Okay. Next up, top of the round with Agatha.
Alright. So... Okay. I'm gonna move my moonbeam.
Alright,
My
move it
shitty
up.
fucking... beam. Hold on, I need to draw a better one.
Yeah, that's perfect. You can leave it like that, that's fine.
No. I need it to be bigger is my problem. Because it encompasses... Wow. I love art. Yeah.
What is
Okay.
I think that's a little big, but you know, that's fine.
Well, 5-foot radius, so if it's in the center, then it has like it goes out, right?
I'm
draw that
pretty
right?
sure a 5-foot radius is just 4 cubes. I'm
So
fairly
just, like-
certain.
Oh no, that would be 10, wouldn't it? Okay, hold on. Here we're gonna 4.
I'm assuming he's
shit.
making a Constitution saving throw. I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah, make a Constitution saving throw while I do fucking arts and crafts.
Constitution's not too bad. Does an 18 make it?
Unfortunately, it does. Okay, whatever.
Does he
I'm
take
just gonna,
half
like,
damage, or is it?
Whatever. Yeah.
All right, roll your damage.
I'm also gonna have her come out from behind the rock. Was it 2d10?
15
Alright, so that will be...
halved is 8 damage.
Sure.
So he will take. He's down to. Okay. Alrighty. It's looking like he's bloody.
Damn, Shoddy. Okay.
Alrighty. And next up is the Ettin's turn. He goes, "Oh, what's with the bright light?" And then the other one goes, "I don't know. Maybe it's aliens again." "Oh, who wants the aliens again?" And then he's gonna just take another swing at Chiron here, because they're just kind of too stupid to know that the light is coming from Agatha. Also, I haven't had you made any Constitution checks to see if you maintain concentration, but we'll just keep it rolling.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
So he's gonna take a swing, missing again with his great club at Chiron, as Chiron's just expertly parrying all these very clunky blows. But since the Witch Bolt has met its target, he just maintains concentration on that, and then will attack you again. Actually, I should do a Constitution saving throw. See if he maintains. He does. Okay. Dealing 9 lightning damage to Chiron as the electricity keeps going out. He's like, "I got him, brother! I got him! We're gonna eat good tonight. We're gonna eat chicken. Boy, that ain't a chicken. It ain't got no feathers. I'm the smart one. It's a chicken. You aren't I'm the smart one." And they just start like bickering.
I'm done.
And then Chiron, it is your turn.
Let's say does this hit? Does a 13 hit?
A 13 does hit.
9.
9 damage. All right. Brings him down.
Swing again.
Let me do a Constitution saving throw. He makes it.
Modify 20 hits, right?
Modified 20 does hit. Yes.
9 damage again.
9 damage again. All right. He's looking a little fucked up. All right, another Constitution saving throw. He actually doesn't make that. He loses concentration on Witch Bolt. Cringe. Alrighty.
And that is the end of Amir's turn.
Alrighty. Next up is Top of the round with Agatha. You can see that the Etten, they're starting to bicker, and they're both starting to argue, and it seems like they're sort of, for lack of a better term, starting to enter some sort of frenzy.
Oh, cool. Okay. Great. For right now, I'ma just go ahead, oh, fuck, actually, if it's a frenzy. For safety reasons, I'm going to, take a potion again.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
Does your whatchamathinger trigger?
My what?
Your beam.
I think, I don't know.
I think
if it's
I think it activates at the end if he ends his turn in it. I think.
No, hold on. No, when its turn starts, if he's still in it.
Okay, well, he was still in it, so I'm just gonna roll that. That's a 12.
Okay. We're in business.
Okay, all right. Roll your damage.
Also, shout out for getting to roll concentration. I love when that happens.
Yeah, right. 10
10
damage. Okay.
10 damage.
He's
yeah,
looking pretty
I'm gonna
fucked
go
up.
ahead and yeah, I'm gonna make him a little more fucked up. I'm gonna swing my fun little staff at him.
All right, time to bonk him.
Beating his ass. That is a 17.
17 hits. Roll damage.
Hold on. Okay. 10 damage. And then we're back in it again. We're back in it again. Let's see what the fuck I be rolling. 12.
12 just hits.
Let's go. Plus key. Let's go, max damage.
15. Alrighty. Holy shit, he might not even get a fucking rage turn. Alrighty.
Hoping.
Alright, is that it for you?
That is it, yeah.
Alrighty. Next up is the Etten. He goes into a mad frenzy. He goes, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pummel him. And then the other one says, well, I'm gonna fucking magic him. And one points its finger at you, Chiron, and I need a charisma saving throw as he casts Hold Person.
For the Moonbeam spell, did you roll it on my turn for his thing, or was that a previous turn?
I rolled it for his turn. At the end of his turn, which was the start of, or after Chiron, so I roll it at the start of your turn.
So 21.
21. Okay, it doesn't work. And then he's just gonna make 2 attacks, one on each of you. Let's see here. Getting okay, missing Agatha, but hitting Chiron. 4.
Does he need to make another con save then?
8 max damage. He does, but I'm just gonna roll it at the end of his turn since that's where we rolled it before. Mostly because he gets one more turn, as I said so.
Okay, Mr. D, whatever you say.
Yeah. Listen. This is how it works. Okay. Getting holy shit. 25 piercing damage halved to like what is that halved? It'd be like 13 piercing damage.
14.
Okay. And then he dies from the moonbeam. So because he has 4 HP left. So I mean, here we'll try it. Maybe, who knows? Constitution saving throw 15.
That does just barely pass. Let's see.
Okay, yeah. Roll the damage.
Damn, he does live
He,
that. He does live
he
that. The
lives
fuck?
it. He's still here. So I guess you know what, Chiron. How do you kill him? Because he's got an AC of 12, and I don't see you doing less than fucking less
me
than
just see
like
if I
2
hit.
damage on your fucking.
Yeah, I hit.
Yeah, he's dead. He's just by your
I
modifier.
want to do the iconic like anime like slice upwards in half.
He falls into 2 limp pieces. Both of them saying "I told you so" at the very end. All right,
And
you
then what
guys.
about those two? Sorry, over there.
Those are the 2 children you were rescuing.
No. Across the bridge.
They run away.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bother with the CR a quarter fucking blights.
Yeah, fine.
They run off into the woods.
Where's Melora?
Give me a perception check.
Where am I? Where is she at? A 4.
You don't fucking know.
Cool. That's great.
Okay, well, I guess we'll go to the children.
All right, the 2,
Yeah.
they're just kind of like holding each other. Trevor's like holding this little girl who's about 9 years old. She's got a bunch of freckles. She's definitely been crying and is still crying, and she's got red hair. And Trevor is this Githzerai, who's got very like sort of teenage features. And he looks up and he goes, Agatha? Is that you?
Oh, yes, the Oracle sent me here since she sensed you were in trouble on your pilgrimage.
Oh,
I managed to
wow.
get here in time.
I saw you just not too long ago. You look so old now. Sorry. Wow.
Agatha will like kind of close her eyes and take a second. That can happen, unfortunately.
Kind of tears up, and he's like, "Oh, sorry. I was just really looking forward to seeing you again. I guess I missed a lot."
Well, time does pass strangely here, so it doesn't surprise me that it happened. It's just how it is.
Oh, well, thank you for coming and rescuing me. It's a pleasure to see you again. Wow. He kind of like looks a little shaken at this information, and the other little girl just kind of like grabs at him shyly and like looks around. She says, "Is the big thing gonna leave? Is it gone now?"
It's very much gone. It won't be bothering you anymore. What's your name?
Ashley?
Ashley. Okay. Ashley, how did you get here?
I just went out to play in the woods a little bit, and I saw a bunch of mushrooms, and I went to go pick them, and then I don't know, it was so scary. There was these little things with wings, and one of them was a little mean, and I ran off, and then I saw this nice little lady, and she told me where to go, and then I was walking the way she told me, and then the big thing picked me up, and he said he was gonna squash me in a jelly. And then he put me here, and then a little bit later he brought Trevor here.
I see. Well, you don't have to worry about any of that now, so we can try and get you back to your home. You have parents?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get out of here first, and then we can work on reuniting you with your parents.
She runs over and hugs your leg. She says, thank you, lady. What's
Like,
your
pat her
name?"
head. I'm Agatha.
Agatha. Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Of course.
I just want to go home.
I know. We'll try and get you there. She'll like pat her head like twice.
Chiron looks around and says, I don't see Melora anywhere. Where is she?
Hold on. There's a cat ripping at my fucking door. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys.
Is that some sort of strange Watcher idiom? That's very strange. I've never heard that before. And then Chiron looks down at Trevor, and Trevor just kind of, shrugs. But he says, Are you talking about that little girl that was with you?
Okay, we're back. What's going on?
Trevor asks, are you talking about that little girl that was with you?
Yeah, that's Merlaura. She was with...
She ran into the log
Chiron.
cabin in the woods.
Wait, what? She'll like look around, or Agatha will look around.
He
Is there a
points
log
into
cabin?
the forest, and you do see a little log cabin. It has 2 windows, and it sort of starts moving, and it gets up on 2 chicken legs and starts walking off.
Oh fuck. Is Chiron still here?
Chiron's like, get on. You two, wait here, and he throws a sword to Trevor, and he goes, I don't know if you know how to use that, but just in case. And then he just motions for you to get on his back.
Great. Agatha will struggle a little bit, but she'll manage.
Yeah, this is like, he's technically, like, this isn't like one of the playable centaurs. Like, he's a large creature, so you can get on him like a regular horse.
She would still struggle. She's just old.
Yeah. You get on, and then he rides off towards this house. He's like, it's the Baba Yaga. She's known for taking the souls of children. We have to act hurried. Hurried.
Why would Merlaura go to that cabin?
It's possible she was enchanted. It's a powerful witch. We have to be careful. And he runs up and he slices one of the chicken legs like Achilles' heel with his glaive and runs through the middle of the leg as it sort of rumbles and falls over behind you guys. And he runs up and he says, I don't think I can fit in this window, but you can. And he fucking bops it and shatters one of the windows, which, weirdly enough, a bunch of blood oozes out from the glass. And he just kind of like reaches behind and throws you in.
Oh, okay.
Give me
Don't
a-
even get a chance.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, Christ.
Hmm.
Granny's bones are gonna hurt. Oh,
Well,
Granny's
you're-
bones are gonna hurt. That's
You're fine. You kind of tuck and roll in there, and you get up, and you see a lady who looks relatively attractive. She's got a large sort of hat on, and she's sort of got Melora's there, and she's not charmed by any ways, but you can see that this like sort of lady is kind of pushing her by a broom towards a sort of like a cauldron that's boiling, and she's trying to like push her into it. And she's like, "Come on, little girl, just go on in. It'll be fun. Trust
Am
me."
I within like 10 feet of her?
Yeah, no, you go in. It's a very small little house, although there's a bunch of different doors. So it might be a little bigger on the inside, it seems, but as it shatters and you go in, you can see she's kind of moving it. She goes, "Who are you?"
Can I just like thunk her?
Yeah,
Staff.
roll to hit.
Because I mean, I don't know. This is not a good situation. We're going to the boiler pot.
Yeah, you go to whack her. Roll to hit.
Let's go.
A 26 hits. You slam your staff across her face, and she flies back and she hits into the shelf that has a bunch of different things on it, and it falls down, and a bunch of things scatter over the floor, and you can see that Melora trips and falls down and sort of just like lands on this like sharp little crystal that sort of pierces her hand, and the blood sort of soaks into it. But then as she does it, you can see that she like you can't really tell what's going on, but it looks like she's sort of something magical is happening after that happens, and you hear the lady, and you can see that where you hit her on her face, it's kind of like an illusion disappears, and you see a very old woman behind it, and she goes, "You bitch!" And she puts her fingers out, and the lightning comes out and lashes around you, as she pulls you towards her. Merlaura, you kind of have a choice to make here. You can step on Merlaura and not fall over, or you're going to fall over where Merlaura's at.
Wait, hold on. I have the choice, or Merlaura has the choice?
You have the choice. Merlaura's face down
So I
on
can
the floor.
either step on her, or...
You can step on her and not lose your footing, or you can lose her footing and not step on her.
Damn.
It'll
Step on a child, or don't step on a child.
You are wearing like plate armor, like heavy armor, and you're really muscular. You probably weigh like, with all your gear and stuff on, like this would be like
Dummy thing.
this would be like 250 pounds, maybe 260 on this child.
Feasibly, yeah, Agatha would not want to step on Merlaura at all, because that would probably fucking break a bone or two, so...
You lose your footing, and you start falling down, and you see that you're falling down towards this, this crystal that she had fallen onto. You put out your hands to stop your fall, but you can feel sort of this dark, malevolent energy coming from this crystal, and in sort of a reflex, you just use your lay on hands sort of points to sort of just, you channel all that divinity into your right hand, and you can feel a little connection that you've never felt before. You've used so much of the Watcher's power, but this time you hear a voice, and you're not sure whose it is. It's not one you've ever heard before, and you just hear "Save the child. Save the child." And it goes in, and you hit that crystal, and that radiant energy flows into it, and the crystal shatters to a million pieces, and you can just feel the shards dig into your flesh, and you can feel a lot of that malevolent energy enter your body, but not all of it's malevolent. And as you do that, you kind of fall over, and you can see Merlaura looking at you, and she's kind of like got tears in her eyes. And what does Merlaura say to her? What's the last? Merlaura says something to you, and the last thing you can see is Chiron busting through one of the doors.
What do I say?
What do you say?
I look at Agatha in the eyes, and like this is like the only time I think Merlaura has ever said this to Agatha. She says, "I'm sorry," and passes out.
Yeah, and as Agatha loses unconscious, and Chiron runs in, you can see that he just moves back on his hind legs, and his front hooves just rack into the face of this witch, and then he comes down and just pushes her over into the cauldron, where she kind of falls in and starts screaming, and he reaches down, picks up Merlaura, and grabs with the other hand Agatha's limp body and runs out into the Feywild. Agatha, you don't...
Shout out unconscious.
You don't remember. The next thing you remember is waking up months later at the Githzerai temple. And then after a couple weeks, a very older Merlaura shows up. And then after about a month later after that, after you find out that your powers have been corrupted by the limbo energy, your body serving as some weird connection that went through the outside of the barrier, that just leaked it basically straight into you, corrupting your powers and giving them a different nature. severing your connection to the founder of the Watchers. Merlaura, you remember the next little bit. Chiron talking to Trevor about just getting out of there. All of it's pretty much of a blur because your hand's bleeding and you feel strange. But everything just kind of is a blur as she's taken to wherever she's going with Agatha and Trevor. They go into a portal. You don't see them for hundreds of years. The little girl, Chiron escorts her back to the place where she's left in, and she just keeps on asking about Agatha and if she's going to be okay. And she's sort of crying the whole time. But you get to learn her name, and she says, I'm sorry you got hurt because of me. To you, Merlaura.
It's okay. Don't worry.
And she kind of like reaches in her pocket and she pulls out a cookie. She says, my mom gave this to me, and I ate a couple bites, but I'll give it back. I'll give it to you. Maybe it'll make you feel better. My mom always says that sweets will make you feel better, and then later the pain will go away.
And then Merlaura will take it, but not eat it, because she's consciously thinking about like the broader spectrum of things of like what is going on and why didn't she die when she took all this malevolent energy in her body.
Yeah.
And like, in truth be told, like, where did she come from?
Yeah, these questions fill your head. Chiron sends her on her way. And life's very strange for you for a while. But after 20, 30 years, the memory sort of takes a back pedal. You start to feel normal again. But as years go by, eventually one day, like you were in the dark for a long time, and all of a sudden, just a bright light. Except it's the other way around. It's a horrible darkness, and it invades your day one day, and you just feel, you remember so vividly Agatha. You remember that scene in the woods with the Baba Yaga, and you just know that you need to find Agatha, and you start to have magical abilities, which you never had before. So one day, you sneak out of the summer court. You know all the different ways out of the Feywild because you followed Chiron around a long time ago. And you remember where that portal was that opened up so many years ago. And you get there, and you can just feel the connection. That connection, you can feel it. It's so tangible, so easy, and you can feel it pulling you that direction, and you can look at the portal and you can see there's a little pinhole that's still open to that place. And you can almost see the connection going through it. You know Agatha's through it, and using your powers, you widen it, and you step through into the Githzerai place, and you show up in the room where Agatha's at, and you can see that her eyes are open, but she's not quite fully conscious. And that's where you guys end off. And the beginning of our campaign begun. About a month later after that. You guys got to know each other, you caught up. And for what happened, simply, the last thing Agatha remembers happened 300 years ago for you. It's confusing and strange. But you just know that everything will work out if you stay by her side. And the answers will come to you. And it's around this time that you notice, this whole time, you always saw that strange figure. The shadow of that lady. You never really paid any attention to it until now.
Like, even before, like, the Baba Yaga incident happened?
Nope. After That
Oh,
incident is
after,
when you
after.
started seeing her. And you just never, you thought you were just, it's just
Seeing
your
things.
imagination. You're in the
Yeah.
Feywild, you're a child. These things aren't unnormal. These things are normal, pretty much. To a certain extent.
That's
But
insane.
But once you get to Limbo and the material plane and you still see it, you realize that this is not normal. And that's what we're in for today.
Alright.
Alrighty, and that's the very complicated and hard to understand lore behind Merlaura and Agatha. Now, they both have more going on with them beyond that, but as far as their meeting and their history, now we know. So again, thank you everyone for coming by. Thank you everyone for playing as well. We have no streamers here to shout out. But
Hold on, I gotta get my funny little photo. Hold up.
we'll get the cat photo from Miss
Actually, you
Frogs.
know what? I'll mix it up this time. We got a dog photo this time.
A dog? What the dog doing?
Dog. Look at the camera.
Okay, let's see here. Open link. And I think that should show everyone. Let me double check. It does. That's the dog. That's the
That's
big
the
old doggy. I don't know what I'm doing here, but that's the dog. So thank you guys, everyone, for watching. I might do a little extra streaming after this. Maybe not. I don't know. But keep an eye out. Every other Thursday, we play more. And next time, hopefully, we have all of our players. Would be Pog.
Here's
I would like it.
We're praying.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, everyone. And I'll catch everyone later. Have a nice day.